It is Dallas Cowboys Executive Vice President Stephen Jones. Good afternoon, sir.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
Now, I know there's a game this evening and we got a lot to get to, but first I was hoping you could tell us about Dolly Parton performing the Thanksgiving halftime show for the Cowboys.
Well, obviously she's timeless, and I don't think there's anybody who's not a Dolly fan. And, I just think she's going to be outstanding. I think it's perfect, for what we're trying to do with the Salvation Army and the halftime show. And, like I said, she's just timeless and hard for anybody not to love her.
Stephen, this week has probably been one of a lot of looking deep and trying to figure out all these things, and then on top of that, you got injuries to go along with it. How much of an introspective look did this team need to have this week?
Yeah, I just think you got to go back to work. It's a long season. There's a lot of football left to be played. Certainly a very disappointing, difficult loss that we didn't see coming in terms of the loss to the 49ers. But as you see in this league, anything can happen on any given Sunday. And, it's a hard game, hard to win a game in the NFL. As Tex Schramm told Jerry, if you didn't have to play the games, it'd be a great business, but you do. And they pay their players, they pay their coaches, they pay their scouts and personnel people. And, every time you line up out there, you got to be playing with an edge. And, I have a lot of confidence that our team's going to rebound just fine. And I have nothing but respect and confidence in our players, our coaches, and our organization. So, obviously, a difficult loss, but it's in the rearview mirror now, and we're focused on beating the Chargers.
This specific game with the injuries at your linebacker position, we've been discussing a lot about potential of Micah having to take on more responsibilities as opposed to going after the quarterback as much. Is that something where you look at it and you go, we have a lot of depth at pass rush, or we can do that, or is it a plan you don't want to have to do?
Well, Micah's just a unique player in that he can play linebacker. He obviously is one of the best pass rushers, if not the best in the NFL. And I know Dan, has a great plan for him, as well as the other linebackers that we have on this football team. Bell certainly stepped up, made a lot of plays for us. Damone Clark's going to get the opportunity to play more snaps now. So we still feel really good about our defensive personnel, even though it's a tough loss to lose Leighton here for a period of time, but feel really good that what we have in mind here at linebacker is going to work good for us.
I was talking with Stephen Jones right here on 105 Through the Fan. You were quoted in an article from the Dallas Morning News that I was really fascinated about analytics. And one specific thing that you said stood out really to me, talking about analytics and not just football, but business in general. I'm hoping for people who haven't got a chance to see the article, you could kind of talk about, because we talk about analytics in sports, but how much has that expanded in business beyond sports?
Well, I think it's in any business, whether you this day and time you have access, with all the technology that's available out there. So whether it's the oil and gas business, whether it's the real estate business, you're always looking at the data to help you make better decisions in your particular business. We use it knowing all about our season ticket holders and all about our fan base, those who aren't able to come to the stadium. But I still love the Cowboys, like to watch the Cowboys on TV. I love to buy the merchandise and wear the Cowboy hats and the Cowboy shirts and coats. And all these things now are things that you can keep up with buying through analytics that give you a better way to make being a Cowboy fan a better experience and a better business for not only the Cowboys but the NFL.
Talking about this team, C.J. Goodwin has said he does not want to have surgery because then he knows his season will be over. So he's going to take a chance. Hopefully he heals up and he can still play. I know he is an ace for the special teams. What does it mean when you see players like that are like, no, I'm going to do whatever I can to try to play this year?
Well, I think it tells you a lot about our football team. I mean, we've got the right kind of guys on this team. That's why I'm so confident we'll bounce back. And as I said, got a lot of football to play this year. But guys like CJ want to be a part of this. And the good news is we've got great doctors, and him seeing what he's going to feel like and not having the surgery right away, I don't think puts him at any risk for his future. It doesn't hurt anything for him to have the surgery. Whether it's 4 weeks from now, 8 weeks from now, whenever it may be, don't think there's anything there that would hurt in terms of just seeing how he feels at some point in time, if it's well enough to come back and help us win football games. But at the same time, nothing but respect for CJ and his toughness and, putting the team obviously first and wanting to give it every chance so that he can come out there and help us win games.
I'm kind of curious. You made an investment in Tony Pollard in the offseason when you gave him the franchise tag, and obviously there's a future that he wants to have there down the road in a bigger contract. Do you feel like you're getting the production that you expected or need from that position right now?
Yeah, I mean, it can always be better. I mean, our offense, obviously, it was as were all three phases, a big part of the reason we lost last week. And so, we've got to get better production all the way around when you have a game like San Francisco. But overall, I think Tony's upside is huge. I think he's going to continue to work into this offense and I think really end up having a great year. We have nothing but the highest regard for Tony and what he can bring to the table. He brings the toughness. He brings the juice. He's got great hands. He's a great player in space. Certainly very tough between the tackles. And I just think, as this thing progresses, as our season progresses, he'll do nothing but be more productive and be a better player.
Stephen, how tough is it for you or challenging to evaluate this team so far? Because it's rare in the NFL to have blowouts, and 4 out of your 5 games have been complete blowouts, 3 for your side, 1 against you. But I find it tough at times to talk about Tony Pollard or CD Lamb or certain situations just because you haven't had as competitive of football games as usually there are in the NFL.
Well, I agree. I mean, there's some things that you look at, and I agree with you. There's very few blowouts in the NFL, and it's what I was speaking to earlier in the call is, they pay their players. They've got great coaches that they pay every Sunday, and the same holds true for the organization, the scouting. So, it's rare to be in this type of situation, but, I feel like, still feel like we've got a very strong football team, and that's a lot of football to be played, and I think the best is yet to come.
When you look at the challenges that the Chargers present, do you go right to Herbert? Do you focus on Austin Ekeler, who is obviously coming back after missing several games? What stands out to you?
Well, first of all, hats off to Kellen. He's got him playing at a high level. I think the Chargers are top 5 in offense. They've got a franchise quarterback in Herbert, who everybody thinks is going to be one of the top quarterbacks in this league. Certainly, he's got a lot of complementary pieces around him in terms of his skill position set. And then on defense, they get after the quarterback good. I know Mac had 6 sacks last week. Certainly, probably expect Bosa to be back. And, the defense has struggled some for the Chargers, but I do know they have the personnel to play top-notch defense.
We talked with Emmitt Smith a little bit earlier in the show, Stephen, and I was just kind of curious. We talk about those teams a lot. That was the glory days of the Dallas Cowboys, and they've been trying to recapture that for a long time. Have you ever been able to pinpoint like the individual or maybe single difference between what those teams were and kind of what y'all been trying to find again?
I think it's just getting over the hump, if you will. I think once those teams were able to achieve a championship, they figured out what it took. And, obviously we had some really rare players, guys like Troy Aikman, Emmitt Smith, and Michael Irvin, the triplets, as we like to call them, are all Hall of Famers. You got a guy like Charles Haley, who's a Hall of Famer. We just, had a great group of men who were driven to win. And once they got a taste, they kept coming back. And I think this is what this team needs, is just to, get over the hump and get a championship. And then, I think once you get that in your DNA, then it stays with you. And I think that's what all teams are striving to do, is get that championship mojo, if you will, going, and then good things happen.
Now, flag football just got added to the 2028 Olympics. I was curious, do you ever foresee a time then, especially with the global expansion, of tackle football being in the Olympics again?
That's a great question. I would never rule anything out. Obviously, flag football is a great start. I think our young people really enjoy playing flag football. It's a great step as you move toward playing tackle football. Obviously, as you get in, you look at college football and you look at, the NFL, even high school football. There's a lot of work that goes into making a team when you have, 50 guys, 100 guys, whatever you want to call it. It's a lot to get involved. But I think flag football is a huge first step, and I'll be shocked if it's not a huge success.
Thank you very much for the time, good sir. Obviously, best of luck this evening.
Thank you, guys. Great being on.